So good evening, everyone. My name is Sudhakar, and most of you know me. So today I'll be taking you through the HANA introduction, HANA admin introduction, and demo session about the course content, what would be covered in the topics, and what are new inclusions in HANA 2.0, and about the server access and the course content duration and all other details, and also a quick overview on why SAP has to come up with HANA database and its needs and necessities. So the latest version of HANA is 2.0. Prior to this, we have HANA 1.0 version. When we do installation, first we'll be doing HANA 1.0 installation, and then we'll be proceeding with the upgrade. Everything will be live access on a live server with the live installations. So I'm the trainer. Sudhakar Rao is my name, and VSR Infotech Solutions is my training institute. So anybody has any concerns, queries regarding keys and all, please talk to me directly. I was in touch with few of you, and my coordinator was in touch with few of you for scheduling this demo and all. So we'll quickly go through the introduction part. So this is about my profile. I have close to 14 years of experience, specifically in SAP. I started my career as a SAP basis consultant, and I worked as a senior consultant. I worked as an lead, project lead, and solution architect. So this is my experience background, and currently I'm working as a practice lead and heading the SAP practice with a multinational company, which is a partner organization with SAP for implementations and support. This is my education background. I'm an MBA in information technology, and I'm certified in SAP. I'm also SAP certified professional and also PMP certified. And in the beginning of the career, I was Microsoft certified as well. And my key skills, like I worked in various implementation projects, about 50 plus, virtually and in person, remotely supporting the teams and all. And on HANA, I have crossed the count of 20 plus projects, Suit on HANA and S4 HANA implementations and migrations altogether. And I have a rich corporate trainings experience with well-known companies, multinational companies like VMware at us on behalf of Atos and on behalf of SAP Labs. I've given trainings, imparted trainings with the Delhi Transco, I've conducted trainings for various batches at Wipro and Infosys on a TPA and JKPL, and I've conducted few trainings abroad as well. And I'm also a corporate trainer with well-known top leading training institutes. Apart from my VSR Infotech Solutions, I also work as a trainer with other leading institutes as well. So my professional focus, why I'm doing this trainings, is to be in touch with the subject. I love reading, and I want to be in touch with the subject to explore the new possibilities, new areas in SAP HANA. And I'm currently working on SAP Leonardo, which is an IoT integration with a SAP HANA and S4 HANA with a digital core, which is a research module. I'm working in close association with the SAP Labs. So this is about my profile in brief. And this is about my institute ratings. This is my resident come office address. We have 5-star rating, 4.9 rating, and these are all genuine reviews. Like the participants who have attended the trainings from me have crossed a count of 600 plus participants training on SAP Basis and HANA. Now it's a club of Basis and HANA administration together. You're free to approach any of the person who has given reviews on my Google page of my website. And these are few LinkedIn recommendations of my LinkedIn page, VSR HANA Admin Trainer. You can follow me and you can see that. And coming to the agenda of the demo session, today we'll be seeing list of topics that are covered as part of HANA administration, and HANA sizing, which would be usually done by architects with 10 plus years of experience. So I'll be giving a quick brief and a shortcut method to do the sizing, and also to analyze the sizing before you go into any project, is it for a migration or implementation. You have to verify your server, whether that server would be sufficient for your project activity. Your project activity could be a migration project or could be a implementation project. So that expertise you will be gaining from this session. And we'll be discussing the latest niche technologies of HANA Cockpit installation, which is primarily used for tenant database administration, which is not there in earlier versions of HANA. Okay. And the live server access for HANA, which is given on a certified HANA appliance. How we get access to RDP server, how we get log into the Linux system, and how we do the installations and all. I'll show you how you access the server. So HANA administration is 100% practicals, like installations, upgrades, cockpit tool installations, backup, recoveries, restoration of tools, restoration of databases, everything. And additional topics. Apart from this, I'm also covering the topics related to basis, like how you do an installation of any SAP product with a standard and uniform tool called as SWPM, Software Provisioning Manager. And if you have to do an upgrade and migrate, how you do it with the SUM and SUM DMO. These tools are covered 100% practicals, and the tools replication or setup the way without the migration keys will not be able to do an end-to-end migration. However, except that step, we'll be doing everything practicals. And certification guidance and material will be given HA 100, 200, 201, 240, and there is a latest inclusion of 215 that is included in the course content now. So that material would be given. And post course completion, I would be giving a support for your future projects, anything that you're going to work on HANA, either it could be implementation, migration, or support. I'm confidently saying I'll give you support because I'm confident about the course content that I have designed. I'm confident about the practical training that I'm giving you. You will be in a position to work confidently, 100% confidently, and 100% comfortably. If you go through all the practicals, what I teach you in the sessions, whatever you do religiously after the classes, you will be able to work on any HANA project, including the HANA integrations. So let's see like why SAP HANA was developed by, why SAP HANA was developed by SAP. It's a global #1 ERP company for 40 plus years, and it is still growing as a global #1 ERP. It supports all hardware architectures. It runs on all available databases. SAP supports for all OSDB combinations. It's good. Then why? What went wrong with SAP? See, everybody knows SAP HANA is an in-memory database. But what are the things that nobody knows? See, I've been working on HANA right from its inception. Actually, before HANA, I was associated, like, I'm associated with Leonardo, which is going to be launched as a full-fledged product in 2023. I was working on HANA also likewise. So I know all the nitty-gritties. I was closely associated with SAP Labs. So let's see what is the story behind it and why it has developed its own HANA hardware. SAP is a software company. Why it has developed its own hardware? See, these are the questions. If you introspect, if you already know the answers for all these questions, you are perfect. You don't need a training. You don't need a training. And if you don't know, it is a time to learn. It's time to know these things. Why SAP stops support of all applications on third-party databases post 2025, 27? What made SAP to take all these decisions and to take all this? These are all question marks. So by the end of the session, we'll have clarity on all these questions. See, SAP is a global #1 ERP, and it is still running as a top #1 ERP organization. And you can see the details here. It is a recent ranking. It's number one ERP in the software market share analysis by revenue. So this is a link, you can also refer to it. It's the latest journal on SAP from SAP site. And coming to why SAP HANA was developed by SAP. Coming back to our first question. See, it has a support capabilities of supporting any hardware. So I don't get details into what is 64-bit, what is 32-bit. So you all are admins coming from admin backgrounds. So basic things you all know. So these are different types of hardware architectures which are available in the market. The widely used one is 64-bit, which we call as Intel-based x86_64-bit. And apart from this, we have IBM Power PCs, IBM Power Machines or P series, which we typically call, and HP Titanium servers, which is a make and hardware architecture owned by HP. This is a hardware architecture owned by IBM, which runs only with AX, and this runs only with HP Unix. Sun Spark machines, that is Sun Java earlier, Sun machines, and now it has been taken over by Oracle, who is the biggest competitor of SAP as of now. Again, Intel-based ones, 64-bit platforms, x86_64-bit, which is used in conjunction with open source Linux, Unix, Ubuntu. There are many flavors of Linux. All that it uses 64-bit. AS400 IBM i and OS 400 with the DB2 and IBM i servers. So these are different combinations of operating systems, hardwares, and databases. Let us pick one competitor of SAP, like Oracle or Microsoft Dynamics. They both have ERPs. Oracle database, Oracle ERP runs only on a limited selective operating systems, like selected Unix flavors, and primarily now it is restricting only to Sun Solaris and the Oracle database. And it runs only on Oracle database, not on other databases. Where in SAP, it can run on Windows operating system with Windows MS SQL, AX with DB2, HP Unix with DB2, AX with Oracle. You take any combination, it works. And just imagine the efforts and research and development efforts done by SAP to make this product flexible and compatible to work on all these combinations. And how much amount of efforts the SAP support team takes and so SAP spends to troubleshoot these combination issues. You have issue with SAP with Windows, SAP with Windows MS SQL. You raise a SAP support message, SAP will support it. That good SAP support is. And for these good qualities, it has grown as a global leader, and nobody can beat it. Because SAP has a solution for a small organization, medium level organization, has a solution for even for a large scale enterprise. So that's a greatness of SAP, and that's the importance of SAP ERP. And it has many products linked with the ERP, primary ERP product. There are about 50 plus products in SAP portfolio. You name the business vertical, you name it, we have a solution for it. Okay. So that good it is. Just give me a minute. Hey, మీరు సోది ఆపుతారా? So that good SAP product is, and here we have seen hardware combinations, operating system combinations, and DB combinations. Next we'll see how good this. So why it is a global number one ERP? So it is giving a versatile. It is a versatile product which gels with any combination. That's the best part. And you have any requirement for any customer, small, medium, large, they cater the solution to it without any limitations. That's the best part. So it supports all hardware architecture, runs on all available databases, supports all OS, DB, and hardware issues also. Not only supporting the DB and OS, it also supports its issues, level 1 and level 2 support. And why SAP has to come up with its own database? Because SAP has application performance issues. And what are the sources of issues? Why are these issues coming? Because of dependent issues on hardware, operating system, and databases. Where are these issues coming from? These issues are coming from a operating system Windows, hardware, OS related, the database related. And who is being facing problem? SAP is facing problem, and SAP customers are facing problem. Online SAP support solution, SAP marketplace. Though SAP support finds solutions, it cannot be implemented in partner hardware or operating system or database because of the vendor contract limitations. That's another big block and blow on SAP. Multiple old hardware architectures, old DB architectures. See, majority of the hardwares and the databases are not modified or upgraded to make use of new CPU parallel processing capabilities. We have CPUs like 4 cores, 8 cores, but when the request goes from application to the database, it will still treat, though there are 8 virtual cores, it will take the job only as 1 core. So there is no point in having an advanced hardware as long as you have a old DB architecture. And SAP cannot do anything with the DB architecture because DB is not its product. See, we are coming from a root level analysis. Why SAP has to come up with HANA database? If you get any opportunity, if somebody questions you this, if you talk this, it shows the depth of your knowledge. And 80% of SAP support staff supports third-party OSDB hardware related issues. Okay, and hardware screening for SAP customers. And all this can be eliminated with the in-memory database. So the answer to all these questions, all these source issues is to come up with its own in-memory database. So let's see. So if we have an in-memory database, we have memory equal to that of a DB size, which will definitely have a solution to the performance issues. And having our own database, it can make use of the CPU parallel processing capabilities. If it is, they planned HANA DB designed in such a way, in the back end, if it has 8 cores, 8 virtual CPUs, if you give one job, the DB will cut the job into 8 parts and it will distribute the job evenly to all the CPUs available, which is not done with normal third-party databases. I will not say Oracle, MS SQL anymore. I'll refer to other databases as third-party databases, third-party operating systems. So to do this, they have selected their own operating system as SUSE Linux, and HANA database is named as a in-memory computing engine, IMCE. And for that, they need a memory database with a minimum of 512 GB of RAM, which was not available in the market. So they have spent a lot of money in developing its own hardware because no hardware vendor was ready to provide that. You can switch off your videos, please. Not needed. Yeah. And this is the revenue that has been spent on a development and research and development from SAP. So this is a rough graph on the revenue, the money spent on research and development from 2006 till 2019 in millions of euros by SAP. Okay. And that's a fact. That is the very reason SAP comes up with all new innovative ideas, new innovative technology solutions for its customers. Okay. And here SAP has 4,25,000 customers across the globe. And out of 24,25,000 customers, it is reported at the third quarter of 2019 that only 12,000 customers have migrated or subscribed to S4HANA. So not even 5% of existing SAP customers have migrated to HANA. Less than 5% of SAP customers are migrated towards HANA, and we still have 95% of existing SAP customers. There are 4,13,000 customers globally who still have to migrate to HANA, who need skilled HANA admin consultants. So that is our job market requirement. And who all can learn? Any DB admin, any SAP basis admin, any Unix admin, or a freshers who has passion towards application administration. Anybody has passion towards fresher development, this is not the module. If you have passion towards administration, installations, backups, DB backups, recoveries, integrations and all, this is the course. So SAP HANA stands for High Performance Analytic Appliance. And approximately 90% of SAP HANA coding is written in C++. Business users of all levels are empowered to conduct immediate ad hoc data analysis and transaction processing using massive amounts of real-time data for expanded business insight. See, please underline this word, real-time data processing. I'll show you an example. I'll give you a practical example on that. So what is this massive amounts of processing, transaction processing using massive amounts of real-time data? Processing the data, the whole database in real time. Wherein in a normal databases, normal operating systems, what we process now, if you want to read the entire database, you have to wait till next day. But with HANA database, that is not the case. You'll get it immediately. And that is the reason we call it as in-memory database. We'll see the reasons behind it. You may have some questions here. Once I just cover 3 more slides, we'll be having some clarity on that. Then we'll have a discussion session. So HANA High Performance Analytic Appliance, an appliance for processing high volumes of transactional data in real time. So this is the second time again they are using an appliance for processing high volumes of transactional data in real time. And what is appliance? What is HANA software? Right? We'll see what is this. And it includes tools for data modeling. What is this data modeling again? Provide support for multiple interfaces where all it is getting connected. We'll see. Next, what? It has hardware technology innovations and software technology innovations. Now we are going too far. So let's see the practical thing. See, these are all the topics, niche topics that we cover. Live installation on HANA 1.0, live upgrade from 1 to 2, cockpit installation, tenant database administration, HANA sizing, what is suit on HANA, what is suit for HANA. Then people without Linux administration experience, separate session for Linux administration, basis monitoring, starting the SWPM tool, different versions of SWPM tool, for which version you have to use which tool, ODBC, JDBC connections for integrations, certification guidance and the sample questions for certification readable material, and how to download software, how to install licenses with a, you should have a marketplace ID. I'll be showing that with my marketplace ID, how you download software in real time. We'll be seeing high availability features. What is high availability? What is DR? How you set up a DR? And we'll be doing a handout document run with a DR setup. HR200, all administration topics. Installation, administration, configuration of parameters, backup, recovery, cockpit tool installation, architecture, administration tools, command line tools, backup recovery. These are all, this all HR200 administration is completely 100% practical. And additionally, monitoring and troubleshooting. How you monitor how the system, or what do you do if you're not able to connect to the HANA database? From where you pull the logs at OS level? How you run the scripts at OS level for getting the traces and logs? HR240 HANA security. We'll be covering HANA security scenarios specifically in conjunction with HANA security with GRC. HR240, the migration concepts again. Some tool, some DMO tool, how you fire the tool, how it happens. Python. So about 156 topics covered. And let's go back to our real time. What is real time? Anybody knows what is real time?
Sir, real time would be, you know, it's happening at the very same moment. I mean, whatever data is getting processed, you know, we get the, for example, you know, in other databases, you know, I mean, you would get the result after 10 minutes. It would take longer time for processing, and or 10 minutes. For example, if you want to get the data of
Got that.
10 GB, it might take in half an hour, something like that. But when it comes to HANA, you probably you might get in fraction of seconds. So that is real time.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. So, as rightly said, yes, getting the data in real time is getting the data immediately. See here, let us assume we have an SAP ERP system. So that made our job very easy to go through this. See, you have a 200 GB of DB size, and assume there is 220 GB of memory and 4 to 8 cores of CPU. This is a typical SAP old system, right? And if I have a need to read the entire 200 GB DB size, what happens is 20 GB, the data is read by 20 GB and it is processed in cache. And once the 20 GB is utilized, it will throw a page dump error. Once the memory is completely utilized, so if a basis admins, I think there are a couple of basis admins. I didn't have time to take your introduction. We'll do that as you progress. So 20 GB, once 20 GB is consumed, you will be given a memory dump error, TSV underscore memory dump error, page allocation error, and all. So that typically points to memory limitation on the server. It processes the data till 20 GB, wherein you have given a request to 200 GB in the dialog mode. After that, what we do, typical basis approach, we'll call the consultant, functional fellow, whoever has scheduled it. We'll tell him like, boss, because of your job, system is going for a toss. Entire memory is being utilized. You please, do set it in a background mode. Don't eat up the resources. We schedule a job in a background mode, and 20 GB is processed in 10 parts, and each 20 GB data is processed on hourly basis during the non-peak hours, during the night probably, and you'll get the data output of that particular request of reading the 200 GB after 10 hours. So this is a typical approach that we follow for processing the data. But when it is coming to our database, in-memory computing engine, this is a big breakthrough. The simple concept is applied here. Why it is failing? Why are we getting all these dumb performance issues? Why can't we make this 200 GB equal to your RAM? You are putting 20 GB RAM. Why can't you put 200 GB RAM? Simple solution. If the RAM is equal to that of DB size, you cannot give any transaction more than 2 DB size, right? More than 200 GB. Put 200 GB RAM. Issue resolved. So that was a concept. Memory equal to that of DB size. And that's where it is named as in-memory computing engine. So people were happy. The conceptualization was happy. And people started looking at the pros and cons virtually, visualizing the things. Okay, if I have memory equal to the DB size, there wouldn't be any issue. And I should have good number of CPUs also to support the memory. Okay, let's take at least 10% ratio for every 100 GB RAM. Let's take 10 cores of CPU minimum. Okay, so we should also increase CPU also. So that's when SAP started approaching these guys. Now this entire data is processed in HANA in memory. It doesn't take 10 hours. It takes hardly 2 minutes to 10 minutes at the max. Minutes only. Usually well processed machines, seconds for analytics. For transaction data, it takes minutes. So we'll see that what is OLTP and OLAP, what is analytical and what is transactional, what is row store, column store as we progress with the next sessions. So here, with this in-memory concept coming into picture, people need a hardware with a good amount of RAM and good amount of CPUs. So SAP started looking out for a hardware, and there was no hardware available which gives with minimum 512 GB RAM. There is no hardware available in the market, and the hardware vendors like IBM, HP, Fujitsu, these fellows were laughing at our SAP scientists and SAP engineers. People gone mad. The SAP people gone mad. Are you asking memory, or are you people asking disk space? Our people were like, no, we need a server. We need a server with good amount of CPU We don't know how you design it, but we need a server with a minimum of 512 GB RAM. See, before HANA, the highest server which comes with the highest memory available was HP Superdome boxes. That's the highest capability is 128 GB. It used to get shipped with 64 GB RAM. And if you need more, another 32 was added in another slots with that 32 sticks. And that is a make to order, not readily available. If you place a order, it will come after 2 months or 1 month, shipped across globally, and you have to place an order at least 2 months in advance. And that was the highest available server. And these people were like really going mad. HP people were also like, "Wow, how come people are asking 512 GB memory?" So that's where, and no hardware vendor was ready to work with SAP to develop a hardware. SAP said like, we'll fund your money for your research. Please develop a hardware. No, this is not going to work. This solution is not. It cannot be possible. That kind of hardware is not possible. That was the request was denied by SAP. Uh, Request of SAP was denied by these hardware vendors. That's when SAP started its developed its own hardware, and it has selected SUSE Linux, SLES, open source Linux, SUSE as its operating system. And finally, it has developed HANA hardware. And top of SLES, it has developed HANA DB software. And this combination of hardware and software together is called as HANA appliance. Like our Android. You have an Android phone, will it work with iOS? It will not. It will work with Android phone, will work with Android operating system only. Simple. HANA will work with HANA database, HANA software, HANA S4 will work only with HANA hardware. There is a separate HANA hardware architecture designed for it. And it will work only with HANA, and that combination is called HANA appliance. Okay. And this gives a in-memory, and this will help the DB to process in memory. So 60% of the transactions are read transactions or repeatedly accessed transactions, or read and repeatedly accessed transactions. Repeatedly accessed transactions. And these transactions are processed, repeated transactions and read transactions are processed from the memory itself. And remaining 30 to 40 transactions are updates. So only 30 to 40 transactions will go till the disk level and come back. So here where straight away we are cutting 60% of load on the application. Earlier old databases, even these read transactions or repeated transactions, for every 20 GB, once the limit is reached, the cache will be flushed and clear. Another fresh 20 GB comes into picture. Morning you read a transaction that is sitting in the first slot of 10 GB. By evening that will get cleared from this cache. Old transactions are pushed out of, and new transactions will take place in the cache, because DB size is 200 GB and memory is 20 GB and cache is 20 GB on. But in HANA, it will not be pushed out because we have memory equal to that, and you don't have to repeated transactions or read transaction doesn't go till the disk level. We'll see in the architecture part in detail. We'll get more clarity on this. Like this, there are many advantages. Like this, there are many innovations. Now we'll see and go back and we'll see these slides. So now it says HANA processes the data in real time, not 10 hours, 1 to maximum of 10 minutes. I usually 1 to 3 minutes window, the data gets processed. The same data in a normal service, it takes hours. So that's a capability of HANA. So this is what it takes, like processing high volumes of transactional data in real time. What is data modeling? So initially, HANA was used for business objects. See, everybody is scared, like even if you're IT head of a company, no customer was ready to use HANA DB directly with their ERP, because ERP machines will have their transactional data. If they lose any data in that, their jobs are gone. And unless and until somebody uses HANA with ERP, there is no proof of concept and no customer will be using it. And SAP fellows have to somehow, our colleagues have to somehow push this SAP HANA product into the market. Then where is the safest approach? BobJ Analytics. There is nothing to lose in it. Bobja was used to run on MS SQL and MS Windows operating system and SQL databases widely with Oracle also. So SAP teams used to approach the customers with what? First, you are running your analytics, you are getting the reports next day, or you are getting reports every 4 hours. What we'll do is we'll give you HANA hardware, which is very expensive server, but we'll give you for free of cost. We will deploy your business object analytics with our consultants free of cost on it, and you'll get the reports in real time, not after 4 hours or not after 10 hours. You try using it. You use it free of cost for 3 months. If you're happy, then tell us. So that's how SAP customers initially started using HANA with analytics. And once they started realizing the benefits of HANA, slowly people started volunteering for ERP onto HANA. That was Suite on HANA. Lately, slowly, the new architecture was designed, and that is S4 HANA. We'll see what is Suite on HANA, what is S4 HANA. We cannot consume everything in a single day. We'll see in a progressive manner. So that's how HANA was introduced into the market, and these are hardware and technology innovations. We'll go a deep dive analysis about hardware innovations and software innovations at architecture level. It has on normal databases will work only either row store or column store, but not both. This hardware was developed with having at least 8 physical CPUs initially with 8 cores. One physical CPU, 8 by 8 is nothing but one physical server will act as 8 virtual CPUs. So with HANA, we no more say like one physical, 8 virtual. We'll not say like that. We'll take only the cores. How many total cores are there on the server? We'll see in that way. Let's see how we see it. Let me show you HANA server. So this is how we access our HANA server. Remote desktop connection. It's on the cloud. Our server that we're going to use for practicals that I take from a vendor. So this is a cockpit tool that is already running here. That's from a fast batch. They're having a tenant server system DB. This is on cockpit. It all comes in a graphical way with the URL. So this is HANA box. For a HANA DB instance, you need minimum 32 to 25 to 30 GB of RAM. It comes with 32 GB total memory and CPU info. Info. So this is how basically we log into the system. I'll show you the CPU details. I'll just quickly fetch it. Wait. Just do it. I'm just making a lot of background noise. See, this is a CPU info. Don't worry about that naming convention. I'll get through that. I'll take you through that. Like once we do this, what is Suite on HANA, Suite for HANA naming convention, we'll get to understand all the products of SAP and what are they called and all. Primarily, we'll be working with S4 HANA. With HANA being coming into picture, we don't have a lot of confusion. It's a simple few products that works only with HANA and HANA administration, which makes a life of an HANA admin very easy. So this is the CPU mode, CPU info. I was having some issue with the permission, so I got it rectified. from a different system. The CPU info gives you the CPU details on the machine. So this has 4 cores here, 4 CPUs. Every CPU will be counted like this. Number of cores, one CPU processor, one CPU processor, two into two virtual, total 4 cores. We'll see during the SUSE administration how we run these commands, how we see how many CPUs are there. And there will be a hardware check to check whether this is HANA certified hardware or not. What people basically do is for training, they use a customized or a demo hardware or a tampered hardware. But here in our case, we'll be using a live hardware. So who joined late to this session in between, please reply back to our email ID or the source from where you got this meeting invite. We'll be sharing the recorded session for you to go through it again for people who missed it or whoever wants to revisit again. So this is on a hardware part. Okay. And so we'll see in detail like what are hardware technology innovations, how the raw data is processed. See in a row, the entire data, last name, first name, email, phone number, everything is processed in one lot. But wherein in column, each field is processed as a column for analytics. So for this, we used to use a separate product for analytics as BW and separate for product for transaction processing as ERP. But with S4 HANA, we don't have to use BW as a separate product because row and store are both clubbed together. It's not rocket science. It's a simple technology about processing the data. Once we understand the architecture, we'll see that with examples. What is roster and column store? And with these capabilities, like I was talking about bots, where customer was given a free HANA machine, they have seen the reports which are taking 4 hours, 10 hours, they are being processed in seconds. And the reporting speed is 3,600 times faster. 460 billion data records are analyzed in less than a second. There's a power outage here at my place. It's running on backup. Just give me a call. Any of you has a call, like if in case if you get disconnected from the net. I'm like running on a backup line. So, and added to this, again, hardware partners. The hardware partners who denied to manufacture a hardware for SAP, these fellows have come back to SAP asking for patent rights. And SAP was not interested in manufacturing hardware, so it gave the patent rights to hardware vendors. So these guys will manufacture the HANA hardware as per the HANA hardware formula and directions from SAP HANA team, and they sell it in the market. And whatever the profits they make, they have a loyalty share that they have to give to SAP. So now it is like a complete 360 degrees control for SAP. Operating system, SUSE is open source, belongs to SAP. Hardware architecture, hardware issues, they have to support and they have to fix the issues. And SAP will, before it is released into the market, that hardware will be tested by SAP. So complete hard control and hardware, complete control and database. So all known top issues that we've seen in the beginning slide are addressed by SAP HANA. So SAP doesn't want to spend money and support staff on supporting the third-party products. So that is the reason SAP declared after 2025 will not support any customers running on third-party databases, third-party operating systems. When we have such a beautiful and comfortable life on SAP products itself, why should we have our applications running on third-party systems? So it has given enough time. It has given a notification in 2015. 5 years was given till 2021, and again it has extended 5 years, but it will not extend beyond 27. That is the end. That is very confidently declared by SAP CEO and SAP team. This last month they have extended to 2027. So by then, all these customers on Oracle, some third-party databases, they have to migrate to HANA, and they all need HANA admins. So till another 10 years, There is a job demand for HANA admins very heavy, and all new implementations will happen on HANA only. As for HANA only, no other databases. So even there HANA is needed. So that's what I was trying to give the brief on that. SUSE Linux. I'll come to the questions. Please. SUSE Linux is a minimum version required. The power is back. Will not get disconnected. SUSE Linux power. SUSE Linux. It was started with SUSE Linux 11, and now we have SUSE 12 and SUSE 15 also recently released. And IMC server. IMC is nothing new. It is actual name given to the baby HANA as a IMC in-memory computing engine. These are its components: server, client, and studio. It will have a host agent. If you want to use it with ERP, it should be your ERP should be on minimum EHP 6 and above. If you want to use it with bots, it should be minimum 4.0 and above. So with S4 HANA coming into picture, many standard reports. Earlier, to have these kind of finance reports, only functional guys knows it. Flexible customer open item reporting, sales order analysis reporting, sales order time schedule analysis. These are standard reports. So for having these reports, earlier people used to have bots or BW as a separate instance. But now we don't need this separate box. That comes by default. Standard reports comes by default in S4 HANA itself. Three boxes, three systems hardware cost is reduced. Three BW consultants cost is reduced. So that's how SAP is simplifying everything with HANA, and they're focusing on future artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain management, integrations, and all. So they're focusing for what would customers need for next another 5 years. How we can automate things, how we can digitalize things. So SAP works on a visionary model and a future perspective. So if you are on HANA now, if you are working on HANA, now we are geared up for the future. So this is a HANA cockpit tool administration page where a cockpit tool looks like. It will show you the used memory in a graphics mode like this, CPU, usage, user tables, and all. You can see in the live system also. One parent database, all tenant databases running. What is this parent and DB concept? Here also we are saving money on physical hardware. Rather than having 10 databases running in 10 different operating systems, we'll have all the production databases running in one box, all non-production databases running at one place, and we'll be saving money on operating systems, administrations, backups, and all. And there is a very beautiful mechanism. We'll also save money on the virtualization also. So this is a very niche and latest topic that we'll be doing practicals. We'll be practically installing this tool. We will be practically working on this troubleshooting and monitoring on the cockpit tool. And we'll also be seeing the evolution. What is the evolution from R to R3, ERP to S4 HANA? What is the journey? What is the naming convention? This is for our friends who are new to SAP, or also for the people who are on SAP. Who are on SAP also, most of us doesn't know like what is suit on HANA and what is suit for HANA. So it is a collective class for everyone. Without leaving any gaps, this course is designed to address all the needs, necessities. What is suit on HANA? What is suit for HANA? We'll be saying it. Yes, please. Any